Kia ora. Hello. Welcome to my talk. I made this title slide in Comic Sans to make a point. This is the point of my whole entire talk. So, yeah, I guess let's get into it. Some of you might have been rage baited to come here from the title. But yeah, so I'll just start with an introduction. I'm Celia, that's me. I'm a UX-y, design-y, research-y, strategy type person. Currently, I work as a market researcher at PickPock, trying to help product teams better understand their customers, markets, and potential opportunities. I also dabble in game dev in my spare time with some very talented friends. Just so you know, I'm not a total corporate shill. Yeah, so look, it's a cliche because it's true. Making games is really hard. You generally have to be quite passionate and dedicated to the craft of it in order to be attracted to doing it at all and making any sort of a living or commercial return out of slaving away down here in the game dev mines. So the natural focus of us most of the time is on making a good experience. Good meaning fun gameplay, compelling mechanics, polish, quality, finesse, good art, good sound, however you want to describe good. And so I guess this focus on quality or making something good, I think it leads us to maybe over-establish this relationship between game quality, how fun it is, good reviews, lack of jank, and how much impact that has on the level of commercial success a game will find. There's this expectation that better quality games will do better, all other factors being equal. I had a look on the game dev Reddit to see what other people were thinking about this type of thing. Amongst such sentiments as, oh, it's just luck, or your marketing has to be really good, that's why you succeeded or failed. These are both partially true, but there was also lots of sentiments like this. I legit think that if you have a polished functioning game, it should do well. Quality in the game is key. If you make a good game, you'll get paid. Most people are too proud for criticism of their game. About success in general, I would say if your game is good and you're marketing it well, you're more likely to succeed than not. I find it very hard to think of a good game failing outright. If you build a quality game, it almost always gets noticed. Maybe underperforming, but very few good games get missed. This was some of the sentiments that I've heard amongst my fellow devs. So yeah, let's start to question this assumption a bit more with some examples from the trenches about what else could be contributing to commercial success. Cool, so let's compare two titles aimed at the zombie market, people who like zombie games. We're going to look at this game called Dead Age 2 and this game called No One Survived. So yeah, when we take a look at Dead Age 2, I guess from my perspective there's been like a reasonable degree of polish and craft that's gone into it. They've got like a little style going on, they've been quite intentional in how they've done that. The reviews are mostly positive, so like that's one objective measure of quality in terms of review score. And now let's have a look at No One Survived. So this one is maybe a little bit more generic looking. There's a little bit of like shovelware vibes going on, not to denigrate these people's hard work, because obviously lots of people still play this game, which we'll go into. It's just a little bit more rough around the edges. There's a bit less polish, a bit more jank. This is also reflected in the review score. It's got that rating of mixed. And then so I'll tell you how much Dead Age 2 made commercially, and then just in your head, keep what you think No One Survived might have made. I'm immediately going to reveal it, and you can tell whether you're right or wrong, but there's quite a big difference there. Interesting. Now let's have a look at another market, taking a look at mobile. This is a game called Cats and Soup, and we're going to compare it to a game called Piggy Go, Clash of Coin. So, yeah, Cats and Soup I think it's super cute. I played it. It's quite well crafted, super cute little custom art and animations. In my opinion, it's got quite a unique value prop. I haven't seen
too many games exactly like it. It's got a really strong user base as well, 2 million daily active users. Piggy Go, Clash of Coin, again, it's a little bit more generic. It's essentially a verbatim clone of the game Coin Master. It's a bit more janky in art, marketing, localizations, etc. Honestly, that pig haunts my nightmares. It's pretty scary. So yeah, Cat and Soup, objectively, their store rating is better. It's 4.7. And they're doing pretty well for themselves, like 16,000 USD per day is nothing to be sniffed at. So, and then when we look at Piggy Go Clash of Coin, despite their low user rating, they have managed to make even more. So yeah, what's going on here, apart from luck or random chance? It's my opinion that these are examples of product market fit, the phenomenon. So yeah, what's product market fit? I'm about to tell you. Product market fit is when your product fits a market. This is a real customer base, their needs, wants, and their lives, what they want. Sometimes there is a gap between what we think is good as game devs and what that audience or market actually wants. This can be quite hard to reconcile, but it's true. And there's many examples of games that are a bit more average in quality, punching well above their weight in terms of commercial return. So yeah, what does product market fit look like or feel like? Well, first let's start with what it feels not like. In a poor market, you can make the best product in the world, have an absolutely killer team, and it doesn't matter, you're going to fail. You'll struggle for years trying to find players who don't exist for your marvelous product. You might end up like this person here. Lots of great reviews, but no sales. What gives? So in a good market, the game doesn't need to be great. It just has to basically work. In short, customers are knocking down your door to get to the game. The main goal is to respond to the demand. And so I guess what that looks like is stonks. But really, it's like in those examples before, you see those games that are a bit jankier, they're punching well above their weight. People are willing to get through a bit of that jank if they really want what's at the core of that product, if that is fitting that market. So yeah, how do I get to product market fit, you might be asking yourself. The following hot tips are not presented in any particular order. So tip number one, if your goal is commercial return on investment, you're gonna want to start with a market in mind as early as possible. When I say market, I mean audience, sector, stuff like that. Because yeah, game devs often start with an idea independent of who it might appeal to or what markets they're trying to target. And then to continue on from just that idea is fine if you're just making a game out of passion, but it's not likely to lead you to as great of a return on your efforts commercially. So yeah, basically the people who are going to play your game, they already exist in the world. They already have pre-existing likes, dislikes, references and preferences that you have to understand to serve them. So there's many ways to shape a market. I like to start with demographics, so age and gender, player motivations, what kind of experience you think they're looking for, what feelings they might want to feel when they play, and also other games and genres they might also play. Cool, so the second tip is to understand some markets are just hungrier than other markets. There's this thing about starved or saturated market spaces. Chris Zukowski from howtomarketagame.com has this great quote to the effect of, "The moment you decide to make a game in X genre with Y art style, your potential revenue is largely decided." So yeah, let's take a closer look at this phenomenon with a particular market. Let's look at Steam as a marketplace. So this is a lovely graph. The blue is games released in that genre, or the genre is on the bottom. Sexual content is weirdly large. You can take of that what you will. And then the red line is median earnings for that genre.
So yeah, that's cool, I call it out twice. Yeah, basically down here, this represents a harder space to compete in because there's more people you're competing against and the median earnings is lower. So the sort of average outcome for games in that space tends to be lower. This represents a crowded market. Your customers are well fed, they're happy, you're going to have a harder time serving them. And at this end of the graph, this is a much nicer place to be. You're competing against less people down here, for the moment. This is a less competition, higher median earnings. This is a hungry market. Their gaming bowl is empty. Serve them. Cool. And markets can get pretty niche. So there was a great case study, which you can ask me for a link to afterwards if you're interested, about how Azure Games was very targeted in their process to try and find that area with low competition but high demand for their latest project. This turned out to be train enthusiasts. There's one for you guys for free. Tip number 3 is to see where you can level up from your competition once you know what space you're competing in and what audience you're trying to serve. So you should be looking at reviews of competitor games that your target market may also be playing. What do they love and want more of? What are they complaining about? What can you do better? So some things for certain markets are just requirements you have to meet. That's like base level expectations. And then it's also good to have a theory about what you think your game's secret sauce is. What differentiates you from the competition? Number 4, be fast. Leave polish for later. I guess with the theory of product market fit and market demand being a strong predictor in how outcomes turn out commercially, with this theory, polish only will make a difference if your core or secret sauce is something people want, if there is a demand for that. Leave the polish till later till you've figured out if the core is resonating with anyone. Yeah, so you basically want to figure that out as soon as possible so you don't end up in the situation where you spend 200 hours polishing something, maybe 1,000, 10,000 hours, only to find out at the very end of that process that there's no core product market fit. So yeah, you want to do as much playtesting as you can early on with people who fit that target market. Dropping free demos on Steam or itch.io, or soft launch beta testing if you're making a mobile game, if that's your market, are also great ways to throw your product against the market and see what sticks early. Testing your own theories about what people will respond to most strongly in your game and who those people are. Cool, so other things that you might also be thinking about all this product market fit business. So I can just make a crappy game in a good market and it will automatically do well. Well, sorry to tell you, no. Unfortunately, like every other tool in our toolbox, thinking about product market fit is not necessarily going to be a silver bullet. But I guess the theory is basically that bringing a product to a competitive market involves quite literally winning a high-stakes bet. If we want to stay in business, we should do everything that we can to stack the odds in our favour. And I guess from my own experience, I see many of those examples of okay titles for hungry markets doing better than excellent titles in saturated markets. So yeah, basically, the odds will be more in your favour in situations like this than in situations like this. So yeah, how come XYZ game did really well even though they didn't research or the market initially looked bad? So yeah, sometimes people do make hits without looking at the market data or in a market that initially appears poor. But for every hit, there are hundreds of hidden flops without product market fit. And for the millions more that don't turn out to be massive hits, there's lots of hours these people had to spend polishing their game only to find out too late there was no product market fit for the core premise. Yeah, but game dev is a creative passion. I can't pour my heart and soul into something based on market data. To that I say, ¿por qué no los dos? Why not both? Thinking about product market fit and creating something that you're proud of and passionate about doesn't have to be mutually exclusive, and probably doesn't. There's some misconceptions I often hear when I try to talk to people about this concept. So I'll just try and dispel some of those at the moment. When you think about product market fit, it doesn't mean that you should never take risks on creative ideas. It doesn't mean that you should turn all decisions over to market testing. It also doesn't mean that you don't need a creative vision, because that is an important ingredient in success as well. What I think it does mean is being more informed and going in with your eyes open about the likelihood of certain commercial outcomes from when you decide to do game A versus game B out of your list of ideas. It does mean deeply understanding the needs of the market that you choose, where there's plenty of room for innovation, creativity, and passion in how you seek to build a better game for that audience. So, yeah, I hope you found some of this enlightening and useful. I wanted to leave you with this blunt but mostly accurate quote that you should always keep in mind if your goal is to make a living from game dev and get commercial return for your efforts. This is from Matthew Emery's How to Fail at Mobile Games series. It's a great series. I think it's applicable for any other game devs as well, whether your market's Steam, mobile. It's got some great lessons. But yeah, it's true that the market wants what it wants, not what we want. Thank you. So, I don't know if there's questions, but we have time for them if people want. Michael.
Hello, Celia. As can we see from your bar chart, it seems that the criteria for a potential for certain genre could be a lower number of released titles and a higher average revenue of each title. I'm curious, how do you distinguish the potential versus the reality? Because all the data you've collected is the reality, which where the revenue is already generated by those released titles. And how could your potential? How could you measure the potential that your product could match those winners in those genres?
Yeah, I guess maybe that's where the capability of the team piece comes in. So different teams will have strengths in different areas. So that's maybe an important piece in, can my game compete in this space? Can I measure up to these people or surpass them? And I guess the other part of that might be what your theory is about the secret sauce. So with this theory of products and markets, if you have a theory that your secret sauce will be something that the certain market wants even more than what is already on the market, then yeah, I guess you want to go and test that as soon as possible. And if your team has capabilities to deliver in that area, that's something that might give you more confidence that your high-stakes bet will succeed. Yeah, I don't know if that answers the question. It's a bit of a dark art, but that was the first thing that popped into my head around that. Yeah.
If you do this presentation again, do you plan on using Papyrus or Wingdings as your font of choice?
That's actually a great idea. I think that I should. Iconic fonts.
Thanks, great talk. I was just wondering, where did you get your data from for the graphs? And is that your own research, or can we find a link to that somewhere?
You can. So I've actually got, this is a great list of sources and resources with many, many resources that I've cited in this talk. Take a pick. Here they are. That graph was from Chris Sikowski, How to Market Your Game. He's a really great resource if your market is Steam. Matthew Emery, I really like. He's a great resource if your market is mobile. Those were a couple that I've used today. Yeah. Last one.
That was an amazing speech. Thank you.
Thank you.
What kind of stuff do you try and measure or look out for in understanding if you can enter the market, and then what might be the secret sauce? Like, how do you distinguish between those two things?
Mike, could you say the question again? I was.
Oh, that's all right. So you know the market expectations, like
Yes.
entering the market. What kind of stuff do you look at?
Oh,
And
right.
then
Yeah.
how do you think
Cool.
about the secret sauce is a different thing.
Cool. So it's like, how do you distinguish between what is like base level expectations and what is the secret sauce? So I guess, yeah, when you're looking at base level expectations, it's good to look at what features the other games in those genres are including or not including. And then the other thing is how people are responding to those features. I guess if they're being mentioned in reviews versus not. Like, so an example of that is, okay, every game has to load. That's like a very base level expectation. If your game doesn't load, that's probably, that's not ideal. But people aren't going to go and play your game because it loads. So it's like, yeah, I guess look at the reviews, look at what people are talking about, what they want. Because like, yeah, if people are mentioning something that is not on the market already, then that's, I guess, a good clue as to what your potential secret sauce could be. Another thing I hear people talk about a lot is, with marketing from experts in that area, is gamers often reference, oh, it's like this crossed with this. So that's another sort of, I guess, cheat code to finding what your secret sauce could be. Yeah, a couple of ideas there.
Thank you. Perfect.
Cool. Yes, that's it. Thank you.